Hey there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and today I have a really fun project for you. See how this dragonfly is just kind of bebopping and bouncing around on that card? Well, it's on a spring, and I'm going to show you how to make these little interactive springs today. This was a request. Somebody wanted a version of there's a product called Action Wobble Springs, and I've never tried them, but they make it so that you can make an interactive element on your card. And I realized after playing with my wire gizmo that all I need to do is use thin wire and I can make my own. So let me just brush that stuff off the card here. You can see there's a spring in there, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make that. And you can even adjust kind of the direction of your thing on there as you go. When this folds nice and flat, you can fit it into an envelope. Of course, this is a tip. When you glue it down, make sure that it's not hanging over the edges, because now I'm going to need a bigger envelope. But that's fine. We'll deal with that. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is grab a knitting needle, and I used a 15 for the spring on this big dragonfly. I'm going to use a 9 for the one for this little one because I want it to be hidden, and I don't want to have to stick it way out here. So what you want is some 28 gauge craft wire. This was $2 a spool, regular price at Joann's. I'm not exactly sure what it's made out of, but I think it's made out of steel because it is magnetic. It's not copper, but I think thin copper wire will also work. So you want to wrap it around. You can squish them together after you go, so if you're not wrapping them too closely, don't worry about it. Alright, if you can see that, I'm just going to slide these all together. I'm not using my wire gizmo because I don't have a dowel for it that's this big, so this knitting needle is gonna do me just fine. And now you want to snip this with a pair of wire cutters, which I don't have. Don't do this. I'm using these crap scissors, but please don't. Please use wire cutters. I just didn't want to run across the room. So there's my cautionary tale for you for today. I can be an inspiration or I can be a caution. One or the other. You choose. Alright, so I've pushed it together and I'm just sliding it off my knitting needle, and I've got this little spring here. Alright, nice and springy. Spring, spring. Spring is in the air. I have no idea what that accent is. Don't even ask. Alright, so I can't get it right in the middle without it showing a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of tuck it just next on the edge of my wing. So you want to put some hot glue on your object that you're going to glue down. By the way, to get this effect, I simply stamped this dragonfly by About Our Accents with clear ink, clear embossed it, and then just watercolored over it. So I have I'm going to bring this up close, I just put a little hot glue, and I basically just wanted that bottom round of the wire stuck in. I don't want to have all this gobbed in there, or it's not going to be a spring anymore. It's not going to be compressed. So now I've got my little wiggly element. Oh, it looks like it's flying. I'm so excited. Alright, so it's ready to go on the card. So what I'm going to do is just do a little quick layering here. I know I'm using hot glue. Tisk tisk on me, but you know, it's pretty clear, so I like my hot glue gun. I probably use it more than I ought to. And I'm going to put a flower there, so don't you fret about that showing. Oh, and while you're at it with your knitting needle, to add a little bit of a dimension to your die cut, just go ahead and curl your petals. This is just an old steel rule die I have. It's an Ellison flower. You could die cut something or hand cut it or punch it or whatever if you want to add flowers to your project. Flowers are a great design to invest in when you're buying a die because they'll always be in style. This die is probably 5 or 6 years old and I still use it. And so I just put glue on my button, and that's enough. That's gonna be enough to hold all the layers in. So let that dry. And I'm going to figure out where I want this dragonfly to be. Now, I don't want to stick it over here like I did on the other one, because look, it's not going to fit in the envelope if I do that. So, smarten up, Lindsay. Stick it over here a little bit so you can actually put the card in an envelope. What a concept, right? Good grief. Alright, I'm going to do a little dab of glue, and I think I kind of want it so it's going to overlap a bit. And I'm just going to put that in there. And I'm just kind of shoving it in there with my glue gun, basically because I want to make sure this mulberry paper sticks down underneath. So because if that's not stuck down good, then my spring is not going to be stuck down good. I think I forced it through the mulberry paper. I'm just going to peek under there and double check here. You are going to stick. That's a little hot glue. It's not going anywhere. You put a hot glue on there, that puppy's stuck. And then, I hope my head's not in the way. Then I'm just lightly holding it in place, and I just want the bottom rung of that spring to glue down. So while I'm holding that and it's gluing, I just want to show you the label on the wire. It's in like a little baggie. It's on a peg tab in the jewelry making aisle at Joann's. It's $2. I haven't seen this wire at AC Moore. I reckon it's probably not the best quality wire, but It's on a card. You're not going to see it. It won't rust, but it does kind of get a little hazy after a while, because I've had this brand before, and I've been like in major wire research mode this week, trying to find cheap wire for my crafty adventures. So there, look at that, it's fun and springy. Oh, they just flutter around. I love it, I love it. So, okay, this is another little thing I want to share with you. I'm not going to glue it down because I don't have my vellum adhesive. I'll probably just put a couple little buttons there to stick it down. But do you remember back in the day when you'd find these little pads of vellum quotes? They're like a little matchbook style. These are about 8 years old. They're great for cards and stuff. Well, I was looking for a stamp for sentiment and I couldn't find anything, but I found all these. So if you have these in your stash, dig them out and use them. They're not going to go bad, and you might as well use them up. So there's an oldie but a goodie to put on your card. All right, so since this will fit in an envelope, why don't we decorate an envelope? I say that's a splendid idea. And you can't argue because I can't hear you. Of course, you could turn the video off, I suppose. You wouldn't do that, would you? Nah. I'm talking to myself. Oh boy. All right, so what I'm going to do is just a little spray ink. I like to decorate my envelopes to match my cards. So here's my homemade spray ink, and I've got a video on that. If it's not up right now, it'll be up on Friday, March 15th, which is tomorrow from when I'm filming, but this video might be up a little quicker. And I'll show you exactly how to make this lovely stuff. It's fantastic, I tell you. And I want to show you, this is the shimmer spray. I'm going to show you how to make that too in that video. So be sure you tune back in on Friday, March 15th, 2013 to my YouTube channel. You'll be so glad you did, because all the money you're going to save. Forget about all the products I enable you to buy, but... So I've got my little butterfly background there. And then this is a really fun trick. You can stamp with watercolor. Now you're not going to get the detail that you would with ink, but that's kind of the fun of it because you'll get something completely different. So I'm just using these watercolor pens. These are by Elmer's. Elmer's and Ben Fang both make them. The Elmer's ones are a little bit cheaper because the paint's a little bit thinner. And I should have gone yellow first, but I'm just making sure I don't touch the green I just put on there. That's what I actually colored my dragonflies in with. They used to sell these at the Sam's Club, but I see them every once in a while. Like, they're kids, kind of in the kids department in the arts and craft store. Sometimes they have kits with like little princess things you can color. A little more of that teal. I like that teal color. And I'm stamping this envelope upside down, so I'm just hoping that I'm not putting valuable stamping stuff where I need to write anything. I think I could still write an address over that. And I'm just going to roll that on there. Well, that's pretty dark. But you get the gist. That's pretty. I can even go in with my little brushes and color it in if I want. That's really bright. I don't know if I want that much. And there. It's fabulous. It's fun. It's easy. And you have a little coordinating envelope, and I really don't sweat it. I don't try to make it perfect. Alright, so this is hanging over the edge, so obviously it's not going to fit in the envelope, and that's not glued down, so we'll just set that over there. But I do want to show you, and look, I got ink on the front of my envelope. Ha! Woohoo! You get a card in the mail with me. It's like, for me, it's like an adventure. But so I'm just going to stick this end in, just so you get the gist of what happens when your lucky recipient opens up the mail and said, "Oh, what is this? A lovely card from my friend Lindsay. Woo! Looky, looky! Fluttering dragonflies." Because I'm just absolutely certain I get that kind of reaction when I send a card to somebody. They're like jumping for joy. Alright, well that's it. Now you know how to make your own little wobbly springs for your cards. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have a question or if you just want to say howdy do. That's it. Until next time, happy crafting.